Hello everyone, and welcome to Youth Fellowship at Legacy Church Warsaw. Now last week we talked about the book of Ruth, and we did an overview of the book of Ruth, and we said that we were going to unpack it for the next 4 chapters. We were going to unpack, starting with Ruth chapter 1. In the days when the judges ruled, there was a famine in the land, and a man from Bethlehem in Judah, his name was, let me get this right, Elimelech. Okay, he moves his family, which is Naomi and his 2 sons, from Bethlehem to Moab. And whilst they were there in Moab, Elimelech dies. Now going back, the reason they went there is because there was a famine and they thought it was better to live in Moab. Food provisions, better survival rates, who knows, but better to live in Moab. Well, he died while he was in Moab, and that left Naomi with the 2 sons. Soon afterwards, the 2 sons married a lady called Orpah, and one of the sons married a lady called Ruth. Now, sometime after, the sons died too. So that's where you can kind of see Naomi has lost her husband, she's lost her 2 sons, so you can only imagine how she was feeling, but she did gain 2 daughters-in-law. However, once the 2 sons had died, Naomi told the 2 girls to leave her, okay, and to stay in Moab, which is where they were from, and Naomi wanted to travel back to Bethlehem. However, the one daughter, Orpah, she did as Naomi asked, and Ruth decided to stay with Naomi. Okay, Naomi and Ruth travelled back to Bethlehem, and Ruth basically said to Naomi, I'm not going to leave you. She pledged her allegiance to Naomi and said, I'm going to claim your God as my own. And in Ruth chapter 1 verse 16 and 17 it says, bear with me, this is what Ruth said to Naomi. But Ruth replied, don't urge me to leave you or turn back from you. Where you go, I will go, and where you stay, I will stay. Your people will be my people, and your God, my God. Where you die, I will die, and there I will be buried. May the Lord deal with me, be it ever so severely, if anything but death separates you and me. When Naomi realised that Ruth was determined to go with her, she stopped urging her. So that says a lot about Ruth. Okay, so she decides to go with Naomi, and they go back to Bethlehem. And the people of Bethlehem welcome them back, and Naomi tells them to call her Mara. Now the reason she said this was because Mara means bitter, and she thought that God had dealt her a severe blow, and that's why she wanted to be called Mara. So they return at the beginning of barley harvest, which is basically when there's food is aplenty. Okay, so what can we actually learn from chapter 1? Okay, it says God provides for his people even in the midst of famine. And God uses our suffering to accomplish his purpose. And Ruth chapter 1 verse 16 and 17 shows a type of commitment that should be standard for families and marriages today. Ruth claimed Israel's God as her own, which was a huge deal because she was a Moabite and they didn't believe in God. And commitment to God often comes through commitment to his people. So this chapter 1, which is what we said, we learn about Ruth's character. Now, Ruth was from Moab. She didn't believe in God. But Ruth goes through some pretty tough situations. She was widowed herself, but she remained loyal and faithful to Naomi. And she stayed loyal and faithful that she allows God to bless her beyond belief and wholly trusts in God. She perseveres when things are hard and is so selfless when it comes to others. She proved that by really committing to Naomi, to looking after Naomi. She's fiercely loyal, she's dedicated, she's very bold and brave, because to leave the safety of her own people, okay, and the own place where she used to live in Moab, to move to Bethlehem, where Moabites are not liked or welcome, because I think the people of Bethlehem and the Moabs, they didn't get along. So we start this journey of Ruth and talk about her character, because we can all learn a lesson from Ruth, and we can be like this in modern times or difficult times as they are now. They're very difficult at the moment. So I'd like you to do something for me. I'd like you to read Ruth 1, okay, and maybe think of someone that you're loyal to, or someone that's loyal to you, and maybe share your thoughts with us next week, what you think about that chapter and what sort of examples you can give in real life. But yeah, I can't actually wait. That's just the first part. That's starting Ruth's journey, really. What it doesn't say is she made all these commitments to Naomi, but what we don't know is the bigger picture. She doesn't know, Naomi doesn't know the bigger picture that God had for them, the plan and purpose. That will be unfolded in chapters 2, 3 and 4. And I actually can't wait to see or talk about chapter 2, which is where Ruth meets a man called Boaz. Remember that name. Have a good week. Bye bye.
Do you know, I read that and I listen to what Sal said, and I can't quite believe the bravery and the courage of that woman to be a widow in those times, to be from a tribe of people that was hated or despised by the tribe that you were moving to, because remember, she was a Moabite and they were moving back to Bethlehem. She was going into a completely different culture, and I'm just blown away by her loyalty to Naomi and the way she's determined to look after her mother-in-law. But what really struck a chord with me today is that not only did she say that she was choosing Naomi, and she was choosing to do that in spite of how she might be treated by the other people when she got there, but that she was choosing Naomi's God. So they'd moved from Bethlehem, they'd moved to Moab, but even then she must have seen some of our God's character in Naomi and in Elimelech when they first moved there and she married the son, to be able to say that she would choose Naomi's God. Brilliant. Brilliant first chapter, and thank you, Sal, for unpicking that. So next week we'll be looking at chapter 2. I hope you have a great week. Think about that loyalty, that kindness, and the way that we treat other people and the way other people might have treated us in the past. I'll see you next week. Bye for now.